Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to the Sunday service of the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Grand Traverse. My name is Teresa Spihar, and I am so glad to be with you this morning. I am also a member of the Sunday Services Committee. Today we explore a concept called holy envy, the idea that encountering the beauty and wisdom in traditions other than our own doesn't diminish our own faith, but deepens it. It's a generous, curious, and deeply Unitarian Universalist way of moving through the world of many paths. Here at UUCGT, we welcome people of every background, identity, and age. Those who come from a particular tradition and those who wander freely among many. Whether you're here in the sanctuary or joining us online, whether it's your first time or you've been coming for years, we are so glad you're with us. Families with children are always welcome. If our little ones need to move or make noise, that's perfectly fine. If you're visiting today, we'd like to get to know you. If you're comfortable, we invite you to stand and introduce yourself. Diane will be bringing a microphone over to you so everyone could hear. If you'd prefer not to speak, that's perfectly fine. Do we have any visitors today? We have one over here. Yep. Oh.
Hi, thank you. My name is Beth, and my partner and I just moved here to the peninsula. So,
Welcome.
Very excited to be part of your community. Thank you.
For coming. Diane?
There you go.
Hi, we're actually cheating. We're here for the second time. Teresa Stevens and Chris Davis via the Princeton Church for decades. So it's great to be here.
Welcome. Anybody else? No? If you're new this morning, please grab a yellow mug during coffee hour so we can find you and say hello. We'd like to get to know you a little bit more. Later in the service, we'll share the joys and concerns of our community. You're invited to write yours in the book to your left, and they'll be read by a member of our care team. You're also welcome to light a candle for your joy or concerns at any point during the service. Please refer to your inserts in the order of service for relevant announcements in the life of our community. As we begin, I invite you to bring a spirit of openness to this morning, a willingness to be surprised, moved, and perhaps a little envious in the holiest sense of the word. Please silence your phones so we can be fully present with one another. Now let us worship together.
Once you catch on to what we're singing, we would love it if you would join us. And this first one, Dona Nobis Pacem, is for the Catholics. I picked it. Good stand up.
Whoever you are and wherever you are on life's journey, you are welcome here with us this morning. I'm Reverend Alex, the senior minister here at UUCGT. I use he and him pronouns. And right now, I invite you into the spirit of radical hospitality. Our words this morning are from the Sufi mystic and poet Rumi, titled The Guest House. You might have heard this one before. This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival. A joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Still, treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice. Meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond.
I'm Ann Stevenson with the Sunday Services Committee, and today's chalice lighting words are by Elizabeth Strong, a UUA minister. She writes, "The chalice is a symbol of Unitarian Universalists everywhere. It represents the light of reason and the warmth of community." Please join me in reading our covenant, which is printed in today's order of service, while Teresa lights today's chalice. I am accountable for me. You are accountable for you. In community, we hold each other through joy and conflict. We openly welcome all and respond to the needs of the world. Before sounding the singing bowl, I would like to take a few minutes with the help of Teresa to consider the symbols and floral representatives of our world's most populous religions. Nearly a third of our world's population. Oh, by the way, this all came from the current Wikipedia, so if you want to look it up, it could be wrong, but that's my source, and I'm counting on it. Nearly a third of the world's population identifies as Christian, symbolized by the cross, representing the teacher, Jesus' crucifixion, and the hope of everlasting life. The traditional flower representing Christianity is the rose, which I have right there. The second most populous religion in our world is Islam, with just over a quarter of the world's population, frequently represented by the crescent and star, which appears on the flags of 11 Islamic countries. Their celebratory flower is the lily, which represents purity and paradise. Hinduism, with 15% of the world's population, is often recognized by the symbol Om. Om represents the primordial sound of creation, the first vibration of the universe from which all existence emanates. The lotus flower, my favorite one because it comes up from the dirt under the water and arises to the surface, beautiful and clean. This leaves about 35% of our world's people who may practice any of one of the over 10,000 recognized religions or do not believe in the existence of any gods. Holy envy, says my little Clover. If those three faiths engage 5.6 billion people worldwide, the benefits must abound. I'm excited to learn more about that. Now, as we listen to the sound of the singing bowl, let us enter into a time of stillness.
Please rise as you are able or wanting to, and join us all together in singing Hine Matov for our Jewish friends, page 392, or right up there. That is D. It comes in two parts. I don't think it says it up there, but the first part repeats, then the second part. So we'll just sort of divide ourselves this way. This is group 1 and group 2, but we'll sing it all the way through. Himena tovu manayim shevet ahim gam yad. Hine matovu manayim shevet ahim gam yad. This group, Hine matovu manayim shevet achim gam yad. Hine matovu manayim shevet achim gam yad. Group 2.
Good morning. All of our... Oh, hello. You were hiding in the back. Didn't know you were here today. Hello, friends. Hi. Hello, hello. They are eggs. Some of them are the eggs you planted last week. You don't plant eggs. That's silly. What are you talking about, Chelsea? All right, my friends, good morning. My name is Chelsea. I'm the Director of Lifelong Learning. Hold on, let me talk about that in just a minute. I'm the Director of Lifelong Learning here at UUCGT. I use they, them, and she, her pronouns. And this morning, I was trying to come up with what to talk about today and went, how do I talk about holy envy with children? Because how do we talk about it even as adults? But instead of thinking about all of the differences between our faiths, I thought we would think about for a moment what we have in common. And really, most faith traditions across the world, what we hold in common is the longing for a better world. Some call that heaven. I think we're bringing it down to earth, personally. And that we're creating the world that we want right now. But our faiths all hold this tradition, or all hold these beliefs that we want a better world and that we want better for each other. And we have all of these different practices of how we want to do that. But really, in the end, can I ask you to scooch back just a little bit, my friend? Thank you. No, a little bit more. Thank you. What we hold in common is that we want a better world. And that's in the future, and we want a better world for everybody. So, when I think about building a better world, I often think about the earth, and I think about plants, and how they can be teachers to us, in the cycles and the dreaming and the hoping for things to be a little better. So this morning, and also it's Earth Month, and next week we're celebrating Earth Day. So I said, let's bring all those things together and imagine a better world through some Earth practices. So I have this box of dirt, and I have these eggs. Some of these are eggs that we actually already kind of did this with last week with the kids, and all of them have different wishes on them. So we filled these eggs with, oh, that one doesn't. We filled these eggs with dirt, and we planted seeds in them, and then we thought about what do we want to plant for the future? What do we want to bring more of into the world? And we had love and happiness and silliness and creativity, all these different things that the kids were kind of wanting to plant in the earth and bring forward. So I have a little meditation for us this morning, and I'm going to ask the kids to help me with the physical part of it. So can I ask you to scooch back, Ollie, so I can put this dirt right here? Hold on. I don't want to get dirt all over the floor. So I'm going to ask a couple of you to be the kind of holders of this for everybody. So some of you are going to hold the dirt. Some of you are going to help plant the seeds in the dirt. I have some dirt. I have some wildflower seeds. Can a couple more people hold these for me? Nope. All right. And then if you don't have dirt in your hand, I will ask you to take a pinch of seeds. So if you don't have dirt, here, Elliot, can you pass those around? Will you take a little pinch of those seeds? You have dirt in your cup. You have a cup of dirt in your hand. Being pedantic. Thank you. All right, so can I ask you, my friends, to turn with your dirt, and if you have seeds, can you plant them, pick a friend to plant them with. And then I'm going to lead us through a little meditation. So all day, every day, we receive a gift that we rarely stop to think about. It is the air we breathe. Oxygen makes every breath possible, and that oxygen is created by plants all over the world. Our lives are sustained by trees, grasses, flowers, algae, and even the tiniest phytoplankton. You just need a couple. Just need a couple seeds. And then find a buddy and plant your seeds in their cup. That's plenty. All right, so we are deeply connected to plants, and they help us stay alive. And today, we are going to practice our value of interdependence. This is the understanding that all life is connected, and that what we receive, we are also called to give back. And a spiritual practice is any intentional action that helps us live our values. So today, planting is going to be a spiritual practice. By planting seeds, we are participating in an active relationship with our earth, and with it, we are saying we appreciate the gift we have been given, and we choose to respond with care. So I ask everybody, or invite everybody, to kind of sit comfortably, soften your gaze if that's helpful to you, or close your eyes. And if you're not holding a cup of dirt, so all of the grown-ups, if you want to kind of extend a hand out to our seeds that we're planting. Nope, you don't. And kiddos, if you can kind of turn so that the dirt is facing toward the grown-ups. So take a slow breath in. Notice the air filling your lungs. And a slow breath out. And repeat after me. This breath is a gift from the earth. This breath is a gift from the earth. And I'm going to ask us to hold up our seeds that we've planted. What we plant today may seem small, but small things are how a better world begins. So I want each of us to take a moment and with a couple of deep breaths, Consider something you are grateful for about the earth. We will grow them outside, don't worry. And with that gratitude, then move into a place of hope. What is something, whether it is hope or what is a wish for the future? This can be for our planet. Hey, my friends, can we be in a... Hey, can we listen, please? This could be a hope for our planet. This could be a hope for a people. But what are your hopes? And then send them into these seeds that we are going to plant in the earth. And that will return to us and give us breath. Give us air to breathe. And then we'll repeat that blessing that we started with. So repeat after me. What we plant today may seem small, but small things are how a better world begins. So we know that these seeds will not grow all at once. Seeds don't grow. Oh, sorry, you don't have to keep repeating. You don't have to keep repeating. We know that these seeds will not grow all at once. Just like the earth, they will need care and patience. But together, we can nurture them, and each of them will represent our interdependence and the promise of healing that comes from the earth. So my friends, you can nestle those right in here, and then we will sing our song. No, we're going to plant them here. All right, we're going to sing. We'll talk about them in a minute. All right, you ready? We are children of the stars, we are children of the earth, we are spinners and weavers in this web of life, and the joy that we weave reaches out beyond the stars and deep within the center of our being. We are children of tomorrow, we are children of our dreams, we are planners and builders in this web of life, and the future that we weave reaches out beyond the stars and deep within the center of our beings. You are today, yeah. Do you want to help?
Now is a time in our service where we collect our offering. Your generosity supports this congregation, and thank you. We're totally supported by our members and friends. We receive no outside funding. A couple of things I'd like you to consider. If this is your first time with us, please be our guests and let the collection basket pass. The baskets you see will have two sides. One is for the life and mission of this congregation, and one is for the needs of our community. They are labeled, so you can include whichever side you wish to contribute to. This service side contributes to many services in our community, including local food programs, shelter services, and we hope offering some hope. You may prefer to give by using some of the options on the screen. If so, please note if your gift is for the life and mission of this congregation or for community needs. We now gratefully receive our offering.
the music. We would like to offer you a song from Appalachia, again, Around, and it's called the Peace Prayer. And it goes like this. What a wondrous thing if the people of the earth could live together in peace. So we have wondrous thing. Join us as of the earth could live together in peace. Now we have to divide into 4. It comes quite quickly. What a wondrous thing is a group over here. And if the people of the earth is this next group. And over here could live together, and the finale, in peace. Okay? So I'm worried about the people who are home and streaming, so I can't really leave to direct. And I'm caring about you. But we'll start with this group over here. And I'll point to you. What a wondrous thing. Let's all sing the last 2 words. In peace. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Arlene Weissmantel, a member of the Congregational Care Team. We pause now to hold what has been shared, the joys, the concerns, the milestones, and moments of this gathered community. If anything feels too heavy to carry alone, reach out to Reverend Alex or look for a care team member with a purple ribbon on their name tag. Please say this with me. None of us is meant to travel life's journey alone. Here is what has been shared with this gathered community. A candle of concern for John Hoffman's grandson, Shane, who died Sunday, March 22nd. Please hold the family on your hearts with this unimaginable loss. From Jan Zerbel, I'm so proud to be part of this congregation where we respond to threats to our democracy, a core principle, with positive, meaningful action. Our important work continues Saturday, April 25th, with the Community Connections Summit right here at UUCGT. I can't wait to see what we can accomplish together. From Georgia Wood and Pete Batham, a joy. Thankful for my great niece coming home after a year in the hospital NICU for recovery from heart surgery. A concern. Please hold in your hearts the loved ones of the woman who was shot by the man she was seeing. The newspaper didn't release her name, but this 50-year-old Traverse City woman had been the best friend of one of my siblings since high school. Her 3 teen young adult children were also best friends with my siblings' children. We're all grieving hard right now and appreciate your love and care. From Christine Cairns. Joy for meeting my first grandchild, Rourke Joseph. Amazing seeing my daughter and her wife as new parents. Grateful they are moving from Philly to Chicago. From Betsy Wacker. A joy from the Hammerberg family. A bird has taken up residence on our front porch and is building a nest in our spring wreath. We love checking on her and are happy that she is staying dry there today.
Now is the time in our service for our stones meditation. As you feel called forward, feel free to come forward and take a stone and place it in our bowl of water. Chris, are you comfortable playing an instrumental Spirit of Life for us while we do this?
I think I can manage.
Sure, thank you. Come as you feel moved.
Our reading this morning comes from Barbara Brown Taylor's book, Holy Envy, Finding God in the Faith of Others. In this piece, Taylor explores what holy envy really means. I trace holy envy back to a biblical scholar named Kirster Stendhal. He proposed 3 rules of religious understanding. 1, when trying to understand another religion, you should ask the adherents of that religion and not its enemies. 2, don't compare your best to their worst. And 3, leave room for holy envy. The more I explored the concept of holy envy, the more kinds of religious envy I discovered, and not all of them holy. When I first began teaching religion, my envy took the form of spiritual shoplifting. When I saw something I liked in another tradition, I helped myself. Tibetan singing bowls, Hindu deities, Muslim prayer rugs, my desire to possess them stemmed from a genuine wish to draw closer to their original owners. But when I survey the objects on my windowsills in my office, I feel more than a little like a colonialist displaying her loot. But Stendhal's second rule points a better way. Don't compare your best to their worst. Instead, compare your best to their best, so that each becomes better in its own distinct way. Isn't this what the best athletes do? When I see 2 tennis champions approach the net to shake hands at the end of their match, I like to think that they are not only observing the rules of good sportsmanship, but also acknowledging one another's excellence.
So I first recall feeling holy envy at a Catholic teen youth group watching a music video. And I'm going to tell you about a pretty niche experience, so bear with me if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about. How many of you are familiar with the musical artist Owl City? Anyone heard of Owl City before? Not many? Okay. Well, you may actually not know Owl City, but you may know their famous hit Fireflies. That was a popular song. Yeah, I see a thumbs up in the back. It was immensely popular when I was a teenager. It's even so popular now it's become almost a meme. The music video wasn't for Fireflies, but instead for a different song called Vanilla Twilight, which is an upbeat, melancholic ballad about what it is to miss a loved one and to walk a path of grief. So there I was, invited along to my friend's youth group, facilitated by the deacon, and this was all around the same time that I was becoming immersed in Unitarian Universalism. Well, I can't play this music video for you, or else we'd get sniped for copyright and our live stream taken down. I will include a link to that music video with my sermon this week, and feel free to reach out if you want to see it. Shaq, the basketball player, even makes an appearance in the music video. But instead, I'll invite you to picture a dark and moody sky with bright, multicolored silhouettes of glowing clouds on the far horizon, of many different people from all walks, ages, and backgrounds, turning their faces toward the sky, hands outstretched in reverence for something larger than themselves. So while this song is explicitly about grief and longing, the name Vanilla Twilight, a metaphor for the simultaneous comfort and loneliness that we feel in our longing and grief. The deacon had us think about this song as a person's longing for and loneliness without God. While I theologically wasn't there, God was not a part of my traditions or frameworks growing up in my family, I did notice some feelings of envy, of holy envy toward this tradition and these other youth, feeling a sense of longing, wishing that I could just believe, that I could be like those many people in the video with their faces turned upwards and their hands wide open, believing that I wasn't so alone, that there was a God who was looking out for me, that even this life isn't all there is, those promises of heaven and seeing our loved ones again. So I felt shaken by this experience, feeling like I was some weirdo that just couldn't get with the program. Why couldn't I just accept a faith like this? In truth, I really envied it. And I don't know if we tell you this, but in Unitarian Universalism, there's no clean box of beliefs that you simply ascribe to. No creeds or lists of things that one has to believe. While I'm ultimately in the right place, grounded in the tradition that most speaks to me, this experience of holy envy helped me see longings that I carry in my own tradition. How I long for grounded connectedness and a shared sense of faith. Sure, I have a chalice that I light at home on my desk each morning, but how I long for rituals and liturgies of deep meaning. How I even long for spiritual practices, music, and scriptures that are native to my own tradition. We as Unitarian Universalists are often described as this conglomeration of all other traditions. This isn't quite right. We are actually a tradition of our own, with our own rituals, traditions, and practices. Practices like lighting the flaming chalice, deep conversations over coffee hour. And let's not forget the immensely important spiritual practice of self-organizing ourselves into many different committees and teams. I'm just joking, but that is actually deep spiritual work here. Unitarian Universalism is a tradition in its own right. Yet what I can't shake is the sense of longing that I carry for traditions that have things that are authentically theirs. From beliefs to holy books, to rituals, to even music. How many of you know this envy, this holy envy, personally? Who have felt a sense of longing for what other traditions have that we don't directly have in our own tradition? Me too. This is an important place to stop and sit with this feeling because it's revealing something important to us. We might carry grief or longing for traditions in our past, for other churches, communities, or faiths that we even used to participate in. And likewise, this longing, this envy can even propel us into what Barbara Brown Taylor describes as spiritual shoplifting in our reading, wanting to take and borrow from what is not ours in ways that are harmful or even inauthentic, disconnected from people and traditions who actually practice these things with reverence. And so underlying this spiritual shoplifting is truthfully a genuine desire to grow closer in connection with what we sense is good and holy. The great beauty of Unitarian Universalism isn't that we're deficient in things that aren't our own. It's that in our purest practice, we can borrow faith and even learn from others in ways that leave us more connected. We don't need to become other traditions to acknowledge these underlying longings. And we don't need to import rituals and practices in ways that are reductive or even exploitive to their owners. Instead, we can reapproach our own tradition with an equal sense of appreciation and reverence. We need not become everyone else in order to appreciate the great diversity and beauty that other traditions bring. We actually know this intuitively as Unitarian Universalists, don't we? That's why we gather as people of diverse backgrounds and faiths, knowing that we are enriched by encountering difference, that our sense of faith is even strengthened by this difference. So in this exploration of holy envy, I want to spend time with the 3 rules of religious understanding offered by the biblical scholar Krister Stendahl. This is a bit of Harvard trivia here. Stendahl's portrait was one that was on the walls there of the Harvard Divinity School library. I used to walk by it every day. And he was a deeply beloved and revered professor at Harvard and a former bishop of Stockholm in Sweden. While he was a dean and professor well before my time, when I discovered that he was the coiner of this term holy envy, I just couldn't help but smile. Stendahl, as shared by Taylor, tells us of these 3 rules for understanding other traditions, which we'll spend time with for each one. The first rule: when trying to understand another religion, you should ask the adherents of that religion and not its enemies. Who among us would trust a full and accurate description of Unitarian Universalism from a religious fundamentalist? Maybe even vice versa. Maybe actually we would learn something by inviting those who lean religiously conservative to give us their best take on our faith. This may seem intuitive with this first rule, but if we are to truly understand another tradition and practice, we need to go to the source. Not to those who already disagree with or discount a tradition, all of its rich meaning and significance. To understand the deep meaning in the Muslim call to prayer, or the practice of Shabbat and why we kiss the Torah, or even in the Christian sacrament of communion. We must be willing to encounter those who actually practice, not just those who write and speak about them. Authentic encounters are central here, because anything else risks not actually learning from our neighbors, but instead creating these mental caricatures of what we think traditions or practices are all about. We need to go to the source. We've got to be willing to be good neighbors with our siblings of other faith traditions, even those that we don't agree with. That's what Stendhal means here. But knowing where to look is only just the first part. Once we're at the source, Stendhal's second rule asks something harder of us. Don't compare your best to their worst. Comparing traditions themselves already to me feels like comparing apples and oranges. It seems judgmental already to assume that we can take a tradition or practice from one community and context and compare it wholly with a complete other, community and context. But it's also a judgmental frame to even assume that a tradition or practice is better or even best. Yet the spirit of what Stendhal is getting at here is a sense of mutual appreciation and respect, of fully seeing one another's excellence, like two professional athletes who shake hands after a tough match. We cannot compare one practice with another as if they are on equal footing, or even from the same source. However, there is truth here in our tendencies to judge as human beings, to compare our traditions and rituals and what we do, and thinking what we do is better. I'd modify Stendhal's second rule to actually say, don't compare them. Instead, appreciate their differences. That's my amendment to his second rule. I think you'd be fairly okay with it. Each ritual or practice has its own world of meaning that we can only hope to glimpse by making ourselves open to learning from those who practice them. The Hajj is not the Camino, is not the road to Canterbury. How many of you have ever had that experience of going into a large Gothic cathedral, even visiting a small temple synagogue, or even an ornate mosque? To sit in the pews or experience the ambiance and textures, the acoustics, the visuals and smells. Each one evokes its own sensory experience with the holy in ways that you cannot directly compare. And there's so much more to religious and spiritual appreciation beyond determining what is better or even what is the best. When we actually suspend our judgment, when we allow ourselves to encounter the sacred in its own right, we become more spiritually open to ourselves and to our own inner religious landscapes. We can find echoes and similarities across traditions, sure, but our traditions aren't all the same. Stendhal implores us, give each tradition its own footing. Don't compare and judge one with another. Which brings us finally to the rule that Stendhal never quite explained. Leave room for holy envy. The truth, as Taylor will tell you, is that nobody actually knows what Stendhal means by holy envy. He never actually defined it or expanded upon it in so many words. What we do know is that Stendhal acted on his third rule with a lot of courage, grounded in an experience he had as a Swedish Lutheran and his encounter with Mormonism. In Stockholm, as the bishop, Stendhal stood with the city's Mormon minority over their practice of vicarious baptism. Vicarious baptism is where a living Latter-day Saint chooses to be baptized on behalf of someone who has died, who hasn't entered God's kingdom. Regardless of what you think of this practice, and I admit I have my own biases against it as well, Stendhal's core principle behind his stance was grounded in this spaciousness for holy envy. As he explained it to Taylor, the deceased person ends up having a choice. When someone is baptized on earth in their name, the one who is dead receives one last chance to say yes. Those baptized by proxy may refuse, according to their religious beliefs. Stendhal's Lutheranism had nothing like vicarious baptism in it. Yet he saw value in this practice and envied it from across the spiritual fence. His rationale that he shared with a reporter shortly before his death in 2008 was, in the eyes of God, we are all minorities. That's a rude awakening for many Christians who have never come to grips with the pluralism in the world. Leaving room for holy envy is about recognizing that there is great pluralism in the world around us. You'll notice that pluralism is even one of our own UUA shared values. In earnestly trying to understand the multitude of faiths and all of their individual expressions, we must be willing to leave room. To include in the golden rule the sense of honoring one's neighbor's religion as they would have that neighbor honor their own. We may not jive with vicarious baptism, but we can leave room for knowing its significance and meaning for many of our Mormon friends and neighbors. Leave room for holy envy, but also for holy courage. To close, I've grown quite comfortable in this expansive faith of ours that encourages us to learn from the world's traditions responsibly and freely. Like my teenage self, I may always carry an underlying envy for the great beauty I witness in the minds and hearts of those who practice other faiths. There may always be a longing within me for traditions that are not my own. Even so, holy envy stresses the importance of being good and faithful neighbors, even when we encounter things we disagree with or we do not understand. The world we seek to build is one of growing pluralism and connection, even across our religious differences. It's why we encourage our UU youth to visit other churches through the Neighboring Faiths program so that they get a sense of just how different other churches are from their own. Holy envy is one way we can appreciate the deep spiritual lives of others while approaching our own spiritual lives anew. Encountering religious difference brings many teachers. There's so much to learn from these differences if we're willing and able to keep the door open, to leave room for the holy that isn't our own. And so my invitation for you this Sunday is twofold. Firstly, to turn inward. Identify in yourself your own longings and wishes for your spiritual life. This is deep and intentional work that we ought to do as Unitarian Universalists, who have so much that we glean from traditions that aren't our own. As Reverend Scott Taylor from Soul Matters so often tells us, deep listening is one of our most authentic Unitarian Universalist spiritual practices. That deep listening doesn't just mean listening to others. It also means listening to our deepest selves. That teenager in the Catholic youth group, envying the Vanilla Twilight video of upturned hands and faces, was actually already doing that, even if he didn't have the words for listening inward. Once you've spent time in deep listening, you're then invited to go out and practice, to go forth and be a good neighbor, a good religious neighbor. Be willing to learn and understand, to suspend judgment, to open your mind and heart to true sacred encounters. We need not think alike to love alike. To truly approach life with its fullest wonder and reverence, we must be willing to step outside of ourselves into the realm of our deepest experiences and longings, to leave room for the holy. For the holy, we wholly do not expect. Amen. Let's now enjoy a moment of stillness.
Abel and May. Page 67, if you have a book. We sing now together. We sing now together our song of thanksgiving, rejoicing in the ages have brought. For life that unfolds us and helps and heals and holds us and leads beyond the goals which our forebears once sought. We sing of the freedoms which martyrs and heroes have won by their labor, their sorrow, their pain. The orphans befriending, our antler hopes defending, their death becomes a triumph, they died not in vain. We sing of the prophets, the teachers and dreamers, designers, creators, and workers and seers. Our own lives expanding, our gratitude commanding, their deeds are made immortal, their days and years. We sing of community now in the making, in every far continent, region, and land, with those of all races, all times and names and places. We pledge ourselves in covenant firmly to stand.
If you'd remain standing and join hands with your neighbors, or if you're someone that doesn't like to be touched, you're invited to outstretch your hands in our symbol of please do not touch me. Those of you online are welcome to join us, and then we'll have our chalice extinguishing.
As we release the flame today, let us contemplate that some of the wisdom of the world's most populous religions can help inspire us in our own ethical and spiritual journey as we leave the sanctuary today.
And in the spirit of covenant, community, and commitment, may we be made ready to serve one another and create that world that we so desperately dream of. Go in peace, pass a little squeeze. We're in Air 5, and grow in love.